Hello everybody, my name is Anson. Welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearts of Iron 4 1000 Week Strike. The past few days, I've had a lot of people being like, will you play 1000 Week Strike? It just got a big update a few days ago and has been updated in like a year, 2 years, whatever it has been. People are like, you haven't played it. You never played 1000 Week Strike. False. I'm not going to allow these slanders on my YouTube channel. I did play it one time 4 years ago where we played as Himmler's Germany. But I have not played it since. I don't think I've even tried to play it since. But people are saying, pretty good. You should try it. New update. So we're going to do it. I looked at the update, see who are the major powers that got updated. One of them was India. And I'm like, we haven't played an India campaign recently. It's been some time. So we're going to play as Republic of India. They are currently led by Subhas Chandra Bose, who is currently the leader of the Revolutionary Communist Party. And we're just going to get kind of into it. I don't really know okay, first I'll read this event and then I'll go into my thoughts as we begin this here. But the revolution. With Mahatma Gandhi's 1944 death by malaria under British imprisonment, a fire was awoken in India not seen since 1857. Ordinary Indians, suspecting that British of deliberately assassinating Mahatma, came together and rose against the British. Amidst all this, one man emerged as the Indian National Congress's leader, Subhas Chandra Bose, exiled from the Soviet Union after fleeing the country. Sidelining the party Reich and establishing the effective vanguard state, Bose managed to oversee the victory in the war in 1947, as the last British troops withdrew from southern India. Since 1947, Bose has worked to build India as an anti-imperialist power, appealing to international anti-colonial sentiment and filling a void left behind by the dissolution of the Soviet Union. His government has sheltered Chinese communists, angering the country's government, and triggering a diplomatic conflict with Britain over the fate of the colonies around the Indian Ocean. Domestically, he has purged the rightists that remain in the Congress and has promoted the left wing. But all is not well. Despite the fragile peace after 1947, the Muslims that have risen against Bose, demanding the independence of Pakistan, and demanding independence of Pakistan. The matter threatens the very unity of the newborn Indian state. And now only the sword shall decide whether India remains united or will be split in twain. If Karachi falls, then so too might the Congress's center. So, if you do not know what a 1000 Week Strike is, it's similar in idea to New Order, right? Alternate history. Germany has won the Second World War. It has taken place a lot earlier, 1952 as opposed to 1962. Of course, some things are different. The United States is still leading their own kind of faction, Toronto Accord. Britain is in the faction. A lot of Africa is still under, European control. And of course, Italy is still led by Mussolini. Hitler's still here. France is allied with Germany. And, they've taken a lot of territory in Russia. But the Soviet Union collapsed, but not in the same way as it does in the New Order, You've got the primary Soviet government, but then you have kind of a handful of, splinter states here. And then a Russian-backed, or an American-backed, Russian Republic in the Far East. So, and also my understanding, again, I would love to be corrected if this is wrong in the comments, but it's to my understanding that as opposed to the New Order, where war is basically avoided for the most part, you're not really ever going to see in the New Order war between the United States, Germany, and Japan. If that happens, basically just the nukes go flying immediately. To my understanding, and remembering a little bit from when I played this 4 years ago, is that this does lead to it's supposed to lead into World War III, which is more of a conventional war than you would see, again in the New Order. So there is kind of a build up to a war, which is more seen in Kaiserreich, Red Flood we're playing. Most other mods build up to a massive World War II, and to my understanding, this is building up to a World War III. As opposed to the New Order, where it's just the Cold War, and you're trying to avoid nuclear conflict. But starting off now, we are at war with the Republic of Pakistan. We'll get our divisions ready to go. We have exactly 24. Very, very nice. And we'll put... Who's it? Okay, so we have 2212. We'll put Boss in charge of the army here. Bring them to the front line. So let's look at our starting position. So right now, we have 42 factories. 12, 1, and 29, plus from occupation. I think that actually seems like a pretty decent amount to start off here. And for our national spirits, leader of the unfree world, 0.1 political power, 15% war support. I think this is basically saying hey, we We support the colonized people of the world. An unequal nation. Consumer goods factor plus 5%. Negative 10% instability war support. Honestly, not too bad for a starting focus. Unbalanced officer corps. Recovery rates going down is not great. Command power gain also is like not good. Because you do take like, that's half the base gone immediately. And then crippling poverty, which is another 0.25 political power gain. So I mean, it's not great. Political power, 1.37, but that's without taking a focus. What do we actually have in here? It looks like the answer is nothing to begin with. Okay, well, I guess we can save our political power up for that for now. And for our research. So there are a few new techs, it looks like, but nothing like super, super crazy. So let's go for factory output and doctored output, as well as free repair is kind of garbage. Oh, you actually just give us factories. Huh. And then what are you? Free repair, factory repair, max factories and state, construction speed for civilian economy. And you're a construction for military economy. I find that also kind of interesting to throw that into two separate slots here. I mean, we only have two research slots, which is really, really bad. But it could be worse. 10% civilian, negative 50% on military factories. So let's go... What's our best province? New York, Calcutta? Let's get some civilian factories there. And then 60, 60, 70. I guess we'll just put more in more in Bangladesh. I think that seems okay. And for our factories, what are we missing? Just rifles, really? Yeah, let's just give this a second to update. Okay. Anti-tank, infantry, motorized, and support equipment. What I would otherwise normally expect. So we'll go 4, 1, 1. Early artillery. We'll put that on 2. What else are we missing? Anti-tank rifles. We'll throw that on 1 as well. Apparently we're not even using the artillery, which I'm surprised by. Throwing convoys. Let's throw in wartime fighters, wartime CAS, as well as medium tank 3. I think that seems good enough for us to begin off with this. Ignore insufficient resources. I think it's just the aluminum. I mean, negative 6. Yeah, okay, let's get one, not from France. We're never going to trade with France. Let's get one from the Soviet government. I think that seems reasonable. And for all of our aircraft, you will support Red Army, close air support, and air superiority. I think that seems reasonable. We don't need template forward artillery and tanks, but again, we'll fix that. We'll fix that at a different date. For regional news, these are all active. We can turn this off and then hide it. Your, what we'd expect, your normal operations. Okay, so you're a little bit different. Revolution in Baluchistan, revolution in Afghanistan, revolution in Gao, or agitation in Goa. Goa? Gao? I think it's Goa. So you require a lot of things we don't have right now. Sponsoring the Patay Lao, which also requires a lot more things. Support Thai Communist. Also requires a lot. I mean, basic things we can't do quite yet. Consider UN membership. We're not at peace. One of the following must be true. Have national spirit, Accord sphere, trading modifier. Have national spirits, Chinese sphere, trading partner. All the following must be true. Has national spirits, Commonwealth of Nations, is fully independent. Okay, so because... I mean, if we could become a trading partner with the Accord with China, they could join the UN. But I don't know what that really does for us. At least not yet. Weapon development. Don't need to worry about you too much. Don't need to worry about you. And what about... Oh, there's actually so much stuff in here, man. A sphere of influence. As an influential geopolitical power, we can use our sizable influence to nudge certain states under our orbit to perform certain actions that are beneficial to us. Influence Afghanistan, influence Burma. You become a little bit more supportive here. So it looks like right now we have only Afghanistan and Burma. Are they puppets of ours? Well, you're socialist. You're paternal autocrat. So I feel like maybe getting Burma on side would be a little bit easier. But that covers 70 political power, which is kind of expensive. And then for anti-colonial struggle, influence Cambodia, more support for social democracy. South Sudan is not at war, and Madagascar is not ready to uprise quite yet. And then the CPC Provisional Headquarters. Located in Calcutta, the Communist Party of China's provisional headquarters and the People's Liberation Army Committee are operating independently without excessive interference from India. While the CPC is always working towards returning to China, a recent CPC decision document has developed the strangle strategy. By cooperating closely with India, the Chinese communists will also play a role in facilitating revolutions across Asia in the hopes of diplomatically isolating the Kuomintang and to overstretch their resources. So right now, their resource at 30. Influence in China is 2. 10 per stage. Reach stage 4 to restart the Civil War. Current stage is at 0. Secure donations. Cooperation with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Vietnam, are you socialist? Okay, that's South Vietnam. Are you okay? So you give. That's spending. Okay, so we're spending 10 resources to. Okay, so let's cooperate with Social Republic of Vietnam. Let's secure some donations here. Urban agitation. I'm guessing we have political power, and then we can give them some rifles as well. Okay. Get our Army Navy experience. We have 180 days to win this war. And then support Iranian constitutionalists. We need to be at peace. There's a lot of little mechanics that are already showing up here. But first things first, we've got to beat Pakistan. Make sure Fog of War is off. Fantastic. And, okay, tutorial. Welcome 1000 week Reich mod. Page 2. I don't think we care about the UN because we're not really in it. GPD, Sphere of Influence. Let's look at the Sphere of Influence. Since a Free New World update, 2WR uses the Sphere of Influence mechanic. Many world powers or power blocks, such as the Toronto Accord, Germany, and others, begin with or can form a Sphere of Influence. This represents a block of countries under the influence of a major power or alliance, but not directly aligned to it through membership of a faction. Each state that joins Sphere of Influence provides a small economic boost to the sphere leader, visible through their ideas, and may open up possibilities of investment within them by the sphere overlord. Note, the view of the current sphere can be accessed through the default maps mode. And then everything else, I think, is a little self-explanatory. Okay, so spheres of influence. Hey, we have a sphere. And right now we have Burma, our only ally at the moment. But they're in our sphere, part of India's sphere of influence. Does that give you any modifiers? They're also a member of the UN. Congratulations to them. And it looks like we don't have a modifier quite yet, but I'm assuming, yeah, so the sphere of influence is here. Okay. So let us actually start playing the game. What about the UN, actually? UN Security Council. United States, Taiwan, or not Taiwan, Republic of China, and United Kingdom are, I'm guessing the, yeah, permanent member. In Australia, Costa Rica, Egypt, and Siam are also now members, but there's no vote on that right now. No resolution log, no peacekeeping operations. Oh, no, there is. The continent of Baluchistan. They are okay, they got a peacekeeping mission. Very interesting, to say the least. Unfortunately, I did, injure my, index finger. So I'm kind of in a weird situation where it might be hard for me to kind of click on things. So I apologize if that ends up being a mess. Okay, Vietnam has accepted our offer of support. Absolutely. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, these are also expensive. We get, no political power. China has left North Vietnam. Presumably then... Hey, you're actually completely abandoned. That's a supply hub. So let's move in this direction. I do know our troops are kind of hot shit. They're not very good. Move you in like this. We can move you one tile. Move you here. Now, our tank is holding. At least for the time being. We can bring some more units in. Let's see if we can maybe counter some of these divisions where we can. Send you to reinforce. Move you here. You might as well get the encirclement while you're in the area. So what do we need to get him down to? Presumably we need to get him down, yeah, to 20%. I mean, Karachi is way in the south. It's not going to be, the easiest thing to take. Lahore is worth 2. You are worth 1. So they don't have that many cities. But we'll take what we can. Okay, so the tank did survive. Move you here for support. Bring you over here. That actually get a small encirclement on some Pakistani troops. I think that'll be great for us. Influence Cambodia. 2% support for social democracy. Dude, they're already at 95. They're at like 85%. I don't think we need to worry about influencing them anymore. They seem pretty much up our alley. We can turn off all of you so you don't give us any more pop-ups. What else in here that's training Malaysian Communist, Indian government donations. I guess we could try to support them more. Right now, they're 25 influence. Train Malayan Communist. We'll get that going because Malaysia is in the... They're still a British puppet. So if we can get them to no longer be aligned with the British, I think that would be beneficial for us. Yeah, 93. They're about to... Can I put a little bit more pressure? I want you on the southern line, please. All of you should be down here. We can try to kill you off the best that we can. And you could drive 97 because you're about... Yeah, so you're going to get that encirclement. I mean, we really just need to surround Karachi. I mean, we do want to take Lahore. We've taken the city here as well. Peshawar. So we're pretty safe in that regard. Yeah, we can just kind of clean up some of these smaller pockets. Luckily, Pakistan doesn't have that many divisions, so it shouldn't be too difficult to actually kill them off. And once this tank division hopefully retreats north, we'll have surrounded Karachi, and we'll be able to take the city. China has reasserted its claim over Outer Manchuria. Outer Manchuria is this region here. We'll see what China does. I mean, China might invade Russia. Which, I mean, wouldn't be, like, too crazy. It's not like China can... Or not China. That Russia can really protect its interest, right? Like, what are they going to do? Okay, so that has now been taken Lahore. Which means that you are now encircled. So, really, we can just bide our time. I would say decent amounts. Like, why... We don't need to attack these divisions. It doesn't help us. And this, we still have 139 days left. Which is pretty good. Must control western side, eastern side, Balawar. They got more surrender progress. And then once we surround Karachi, we'll probably send a few more divisions to the south. I think that seems reasonable. Oh wait, is the AI just going to leave Karachi? I love when the AI does this. It helps me out so much. Germany tests an atomic bomb. Just hours ago, the government of Germany announced the success of its first ever atomic bomb test. The test was performed in a remote Arctic region of the Reich Moskovin on the 19th of February. And a relatively low-yield weapon successfully detonated. Berlin now claims that it has proven that it can match the Toronto Accord in terms of nuclear capability. However, military experts in the West have suggested that the triumphant announcement around tests are bluffs, and that Germany does not have a full capabilities of producing atomic bombs at an industrial scale, unlike the United States. Nonetheless, a clear demonstration of theoretical nuclear capability from Germany is something that the West had long feared, and is now a reality. When will you be there? 14 hours? There we go. See, if you just leave, it allows me to walk into the province. I love the Hoi 4 AI. Sometimes it's a little unpredictable, but sometimes it just does this. And allows me to win immediately. Okay, Spain and Morocco are now also at war. And again, well, because, you know, it's a mob we don't really play too often, and by that I mean, again, I haven't played it in 4 years. We are almost certainly going to be reading most of the global events. Just because, obviously, I don't know kind of the background for most of these things. But victory in Pakistan. India's victory was inevitable, but now the people can celebrate seeing it happen. Our armed forces successfully succeeded in achieving our objectives in the war against the Pakistanis. This victory has avoided the potential catastrophe of stability so early in the nation's free history, and is certain to strengthen our nation for generations to come. Jai Hind. We annex Pakistan. It's no longer a core of Pakistan. Get 10% stability, get 10% war support, and we can now influence Baluchistan. Understandable. So we're going to actually split the army in half. One division is going to, or one arm is going to be around Baluchistan. The other, I'm going to put on Burma. I mean, there's a lot of tiny countries around us, but I'm not too worried about them. And hey, we can now do the 18th century of the INC, which is a 161-day focus, but presumably we're going to be getting a lot of events surrounding that. So what are you guys? Donate equipment to Afghanistan. Influence increases by +1, originally 0. We send them 300 rifles. How do I know how much influence I have? I'm guessing if I click Sphere of Influence, non-aligned, non-aligned, You're also not aligned with your Arner sphere. I'm guessing because we're not a main power block. But where does it actually say in here how much influence we have? I mean, because you're obviously oriented towards Indian interests, but that doesn't mean too much if I don't know how to actually look at where those numbers are. But you know what? We'll donate weapons to both Afghanistan and, you know what, Burma? We'll send some influence towards you as well. I think that seems good. Secure donations. Okay, so this is like just a passive. It's a free 5 points every once in a while. So we're going to take this. New directive from the Shanghai column. So they get a event. Hainan is now a core of Hainan. 250 guns. We'll do some Indian government donations. And then we're going to reactivate cells in China. I think that seems like a good place for us to start. But for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. If you have enjoyed, thumbs up. Did not enjoy, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.